Hey, buddy, what's going on?
How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Thanks for making the time. I know it was a little bit of a tough one.
No, all good. Anything for you.
Oh, stop it, stop it. I'll ask for the world. You got to be careful. Um, so, dude, thanks for making the time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no
Tell
problem.
him I'm gonna we'll jump right into it because one thing I'm not good about is being brief. I could sit here and chew your ear for like 3 hours, but we only got a couple minutes so that we can make this digestible for other affiliate owners. So I'd love to hear. First of all, how do I say the name of the gym?
CrossFit Eado.
CrossFit Edo. Okay, cool. Well, tell me about CrossFit Edo.
So Eado, the EA stands for East, the
Okay.
DO stands for Downtown.
Okay.
Uh, we've been affiliate since 2012. We've got a humongous space which allows us an opportunity to do a bunch of different style of programs and classes and class times. And we've got another thing that makes it unique and special is that we've got a wide range of athletes from super beginner to advanced. So we're here in downtown Houston and just rocking and rolling.
Okay. So 2012, same space that you guys started in.
Actually, no, we kind of started before we got affiliated. We were doing CrossFit stuff
Yeah.
uh, in a parking lot next door to where we are.
Oh wow.
Uh, we had like a Roman chair was our pull-up bar, for example, and grew from there into a little 2,000 square foot space, and then within a year we were in 4,000 square foot space, and then shortly thereafter we were like, you know what, screw it, let's take the risk and do a 30,000 square foot space. So
Good for you.
yeah, we've been in 30,000 square feet now since January of 2013, which was also the first weekend we hosted a level one cert or
Okay.
seminar.
Okay. Okay. And
And,
introduce yourself to people who might be watching and tell them kind of your background.
my name is Shaheen Nagabi. I'm from Houston. I'm a Libra. I the love of my life is a puppy dog that I rescued from Hurricane Ike, and just
What's the puppy star sign?
uh,
And more
Mil-
more, more
whatever.
importantly,
Yeah, whatever June is, June or July.
you
So,
got me. I don't know. That's great. Okay, so I don't know if you know this, but we're guilty by association because I grew up in Austin.
oh, no kidding!
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
I was just there this weekend actually for a wedding at Horseshoe Bend.
Great place.
Yeah,
Such a
I mean,
cool place.
Austin's incredible.
So, and before we get into like the business and the nuts and bolts, how did you guys make out with the hurricane? I know that Houston got nailed.
Yeah, knock on wood, we were really blessed. Where we are in the downtown area is extremely elevated, so we actually had no issues at all. Unfortunately, a lot of other boxes were affected and weightlifting centers were affected. And we, because of the space we have, where we were able to kind of open our doors to athletes to come drop in and hang out until their places were built up. And knock on wood, Houston CrossFit community is really tight knit. Everyone gets along really well, so it's been awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
What does membership look like? How numbers wise, how many people are coming through the doors of Edo?
Yeah, on a daily basis, so we're in a younger professional area. Our average age group here is about 26, so very active. So we get a ton of people through the doors. I'd say we probably average 150 people a day,
Okay.
plus or minus, depending on what day it is. We've got a little over 400 members right now. We peaked at one point a little over 600, came down to 300, now we're at 400. So, as things have changed, 2012 to now, there's been a big, kind of a big spread, and we've continued to evolve as things progress.
Yeah, and I'm guessing with a membership that large, you guys have a lot of, well, and 150 people coming through the door on a daily basis. Like that's a lot of logistics you guys have to deal with anyway since 2012.
Yeah, it's been cool. Most of our coaches and staff kind of grew up with us or start with us and eventually turn into leadership roles here, and kind of have an idea of the system. So we'll run 5 classes at a time sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. It's controlled chaos,
I
but
can imagine.
yeah, but we know, you still know everybody's names, you still know everybody's strengths and weaknesses, and it's easy to have fun. It's easy to recognize everybody when you're having a good time. So it's not that big of a deal. You still have that small feel of a box.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
And then just tell me what about like, do we have fire breathers in there? You got people who are kind of games bound, or is that not really the vibe at all?
Yeah, so going back to how things have transitioned, we perpetually kind of been one of the bigger boxes in Houston for quite some time. And so we had Jen Jones, who was a games competitor for quite a few years in a row. So she was out of her box until she got married and moved off, but we still love her and miss her. We've had regional teams every single year since 2013. Finished sixth the last 2 seasons. But, as people graduate, as people relocate for work, and as kind of the box shifts a little bit, so do the priorities of the gym. So right now, we don't really have any kind of super fire breathers, but it's kind of neat. We've been taking a really strong focus on trying to build not just present ourselves as a fire breather box, which I think a lot of people kind of viewed Edo as the competitive box.
Yeah.
To really kind of welcome everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting because I've heard it argued both ways. Some people are like, oh yeah, competition is everything, and some people are like, oh, competition can ruin camaraderie and things in the gym. How do you? It seems to me, and I've got a built-in assumption because I'm calling you because of participation in the Open is through the roof, that you guys use it to your benefit. So first of all, I hope that's the right assumption. But how does competition fit into the gym?
No, it's great. So I've got a really straightforward and how do I say this? If I think something's not maybe vibing right, I'll sit you down. I'll say, hey, you know what? Here's some direct feedback for you. So we don't try to beat around the bush. So and our coaches respect that. So if we see something's not kind of clicking as we want for the environment of the gym, we'll have a one-on-one sit down, and that gets addressed immediately because everyone's an adult, right?
Sure.
When you start playing around and sneaking around and maybe not directly chatting with somebody with something, it's when you have issues, but. Man, right now it's great. Like everyone's on board. Everybody loves each other. High fives. It's just a good environment to be in.
Yeah, and so let's segue that right into, obviously you guys are, in my opinion, a center of excellence. I'm looking at my board over here. I've got the numbers written down. 202 people from your gym participate in the Open. That to me just jumps off the page. And I've been lucky enough to talk to a couple of people today in very similar situations. It's been great. But how did you guys accomplish that? Like, what are you doing to get people fired up to compete in the Worldwide Open?
We talk about it starting in January. Really, towards December, we start kind of talking about it and start almost kind of like a drip campaign about it, and get a lot of people who are new to CrossFit to understand what the Open even means. Yeah. And some of our programming will kind of flavor some of the Open things. And so we'll mention, hey, this workout's going to be similar to the Open 14.2. And then at the beginning of class, we'll describe what 14.2 even means. It took me a full year of CrossFit to understand that 14 was the last 2 digits of the year.
Right.
So if I didn't know that, like who else didn't know that? So we kind of push it towards the end of the year and the beginning of the year. Weekends, a lot of times we'll do kind of partner workouts, but they're geared more towards Open style. And then we encourage our coaches and some of our athletes to kind of give their feedback or post a photo about what they've been doing for the Open. And then in about maybe 3 weeks from now, we'll set up some iPads outside as members walk in right by the whiteboard. And we're like, hey guys, sign up for the Open. It takes you 2 seconds. And we every year we get a really, really cool Team Edo shirt made for the Open.
Cool.
So if you're ready for the Open, you get a free shirt.
Nice.
So it's kind of a cool way to build more camaraderie. And then the best part is, honestly, when we go down to San Antonio or Dallas, we just kind of do what we call Edo domination, just take over, all the bars and restaurants and then the events throughout the day. So it's a lot of fun.
That's like during the Open, you guys will go to another city to participate in the Open?
Yeah, for the regional. So
for the regional, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. But for leading up, like during the Open, Thursday night we'll do a huge watch party. We've got some huge white walls. We've got some flat screens. We'll set up chairs and we've got some refreshments. And so we'll have some people throw down Thursday evening, and then Friday it's Friday Night Lights. Saturday it's Saturday Night Lights. It just keeps on going and going. And so the hype just stays really, really active for those 5 weeks, and then a few weeks before and a few weeks after.
Yeah. Now, honest question. These folks are paying $20 to do the Open, but they're not paying it directly to you. What benefit is it? Like, why are you making these guys free shirts, and why are you fired up to get them involved in it? Like, what do you guys get in return?
Man, it's just one, them participating. Like if it takes a free shirt for someone to participate, like the benefit of them being part of that environment, getting your first double under or your first pull up or your first muscle up, you cannot replicate that, right? I don't care how much you're spending on like Facebook ads or print media or whatever the case may be. Nothing can replicate the intensity and the atmosphere and that accomplishment during the open. Like that's the biggest investment that I can make. Like I salivate when the open comes around, like on a marketing standpoint, I'm like, yes, this is freaking awesome. And we spend like, we don't get like cheap t-shirts. We don't get like somewhat, okay designs. We go all out and it's pretty cool. So.
And so essentially because of all the things, and again, like I'm preaching to the choir, right? And I know these things in my heart, but it's interesting, and I love hearing it from people who have actually had this much success. Like you're top 10 in terms of participation worldwide in the open, which means you guys are absolutely crushing it. So it's just cool for me to hear, that there is something in it for you. And I guess what I'm hearing you say is those things that I know come from competition that you can't necessarily engender in your regular workout. You take it from here to here, right?
Yeah, it's playoff season all over, and there's nothing more than, there's no other excitement. Everyone's pushing for you and in your corner. And I mean, I'll never forget, the best part is someone getting their first double under.
Yeah.
Or their first muscle up, right?
Yeah.
Like that is an injection of energy that member is going to stay and try to focus on for the next year. So if the t-shirt costs me $15 to make or $20 to make, whatever the case is, I mean, that's the best marketing I could possibly do.
Yeah.
Reinvesting in our members really what it comes down to.
So, and that's something that I hadn't heard yet was like, was giving them a t-shirt, for example. This whole thing kind of came about, like me reaching out to, people who are centers of excellence in this regard, especially participation in the open, was because somebody reached out to me on social media and was the opposite. She's like, hey, I'm a new coach. I'm in Alaska. I'm trying to get people excited about the open. Like, what are some ideas? And one of her ideas, and one thing that I think that they're doing at CrossFit Alaska, is they had a raffle. So if you signed up for the open, you're involved in a raffle. What do you think about stuff like that? Is it necessary or
I think your members better than anybody else, and what motivates your members. And the reality is, it's, they're gonna a lot of people will do it anyways.
Yeah.
But if you've got something that can kind of help bridge that gap a little bit, or if you have that member who's teetering on whether they should do it or not, or if they don't have the confidence level for it, that's really who we're going after. Something that we started doing this past few months was doing giving like attendance. Like if a member, whoever the top male and top female attendance is for the month, get a free membership or get a free basket from American Games Protein or Fit Aids or whatever the case may be. And again, it's geared towards just trying to get more community-based involvement. So the more we give back to our coaches, the more we give back to our members, the box sees on a 10x fold. So
right. I imagine, yeah. You got people out there getting their first muscle up and their first double under. You can't shut them up if you want to, right?
It's awesome.
So what are the challenges? What, like, logistically? I mean, and like we said already, you're running 5 classes at a time. I can't imagine that running an open workout's not that difficult for you guys. But what are the challenges?
Yeah, well, the challenge is when our buddy Dave programs something that you're like, it's going to take the entire gym's length to do these, handstand walks or burpee box overs or whatever the case may be. I mean, the challenge really comes down to when you've got to set up a judge, to set up those members, to get it rolling on the hour. So it's almost like us doing 5 weeks of competitions, like in-house competitions. And it's really about staying strict on time. So we'll get people pre-registered for their slots. And a lot of times they'll want to select their judges, who are their friends and who are their biggest motivators. And they'll invite their friends, like, I'm going at 5 o'clock on Friday. Will you come and support me? And so I think it's really just trying to make sure everyone's comfortable. We've got all the equipment out. We've got everybody on a schedule. And then, right when this clock's about to start, someone's got to run and tinkle real quick,
totally,
right?
Totally.
So, it's just the fun stuff about it, but logistics is always going to be an issue. And I don't care if you're a small box or a big box. The way that we've really tried to attack that is to put the logistic burden on our athletes. So it's like, cool, you want to go at 5 o'clock? Awesome. Pick your judge. Like, if you have a judge.
Yeah.
And be here 30 minutes in advance, and we're starting right at this time. So a lot of peer-to-peer judging until we start getting to some of our more regional athletes where we've got to like really kind of hone in and really take the videos and all that kind of stuff. So
That's unique. I hadn't heard that one yet. I like that a lot. Putting the onus on them to actually come with a judge, maybe even come with a judge and print out your own score sheet. They take you to the next level.
It was some paper, but yeah, we print them off all the score sheets. We keep them all piled up real nice. We've got clipboard. We host a ton of L1s. We've got all of the infrastructure for the stuff. So it's cool. You know, and once you're kind of judging and you're really in the mix, that's really what continues to drive people towards 18.5.
Yep, absolutely. So, how about a we learn by failing, obviously. So, were there any massive fails that you had, or some hard lessons you learned in early opens?
I know for a fact that we don't just rely on our one clock.
Yeah.
We coaches have stopwatches now.
Nice.
You know, just in case. There was a time, I don't remember what year it was, where our entire lights went out. It's like, cool. Like, awesome. Right? So
in the middle of the workout?
Yeah, in the middle of the
Yes.
workout. Sorry, guys. No, so you keep a stopwatch, you keep an extra pencil. And as a box owner, you become flexible. Like, if you got to open up on a Sunday, you open up on a Sunday, right? Like, this is a really important time for a member, an athlete, for the gym's growth as a community. So you've got to be like super flexible.
Yeah, that's great. I love the stopwatch as one of the more pragmatic pieces of advice we've gotten so far. That happened at regionals one year. I don't know if you remember.
I don't remember.
In Chicago, the lights went out in the middle of it.
Oh yeah, that was a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, and it all came off without a hitch, but it was pretty interesting. I think it was during that deadlift box jump workout. It was pretty intense. Wow, man. Well, congratulations on all the success. It sounds like you guys are doing fantastic stuff. When do you get your workout in? When do you do your open workouts?
So, because I'm like the old guy at the gym at 35, I try to do it on Thursday night. Like, it gets announced, I'm hitting the floor. Let's knock this puppy out. The days of me trying to do like 2 or 3 times the workout, like, nah, I'm good. I'm one and done. So
I'm with you.
Yeah. Unless there's like a super, super, super amateur masters program somewhere, I'm pretty set right now.
Well, you're in it no matter what at 35.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, that age group is just about as competitive as any other one.
Yeah.
All right. Anything that we haven't thought of, or that I haven't thought of, that you would tell these guys? I know that again, there's somebody who's got less experience than yourself in terms of, somebody who's intimidated by incorporating the open because maybe they're a young affiliate, maybe they've been around for a year or two and they just haven't stepped in there yet. Like, what would you tell them?
I think communicating with your members and not only just explaining what the open is, but even how we do it. Like, here's what we do. We're going to do this. We're going to meet here. Everyone's going to meet here. This is the importance behind it. When we meet, the goal is to really encourage each other, right? Like, maybe even write down your 5 goals for the open. Like, what are your, and then look back in next year's open. So I think there's a lot of things you could do just by communicating that with your gym. And I remember when I first started CrossFitting, the open was terrifying. Like, I had anxiety, I had butterflies all throughout the, Now I'm like, it's fun. I don't care. So I think it's trying to find that balance for athletes and making them feel really comfortable. So I think that's really what it comes down to.
Right on. Well, again, top 10 in terms of participation. That should be a badge of honor for you. And congrats. And we look forward to catching up with you after this year as well. But I really appreciate you giving us your brain for a couple minutes.
Yeah, you got it, man. Anytime. We love you guys. We appreciate everything that HQ does. I think the media, especially, you guys have stepped up the game majorly since we got involved in 2012.
Thank you.
And then, so yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's well, as you know, it's really fun. Get to have conversations like this all day. So I could be doing far, far, far worse things, man.
Yeah. Right.
And when we are down in the Houston area, we'll definitely come by and do some chest bumps and some high fives.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Sounds good.
Okay. Take care. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Rory.